Isn't that right? Our dream house. The house we fell in love with, imagine this.
I thought we agreed we were going to lead an active social life. Open house.
My God, yes, I was really looking forward to that. Seeing you as hostess and getting your chickens in circle. Yes. Anyway, for the time being, we shall have to make do with each other. And aren't you sure we'll be able to come around quite often? But things ought to have been very different for you. Very different.
I suppose I shan't be able to have my butler. That will be the first thing.
I'm afraid son is completely out of the question.
And the horse I was going to have. Horse? I suppose I'd better put that right out of my mind.
Good God, yes, I think that goes without saying.
Well, at least I still have one diversion to keep me going while I'm waiting.
And I'm very glad to hear it, Hedda. What might that be?
My pistols, George.
Your pistols?
General Gabler's pistols.
No, Hedda, for God's sake, don't play with those dangerous things, Hedda. Don't!
Back again, Judge.
That's right, Mrs. Tasman.
I think I'll shoot you now, Judge.
Stop it! Don't point that thing at me!
That's what comes of trying to creep in the back way.
Have you gone quite mad?
I didn't hit you. Or did I?
I wish you wouldn't fall about like that.
Come in, Judge.
My God, I thought you'd given up that game. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just standing here, shooting into the blue.
Allow me. Oh yes, I know this one well. Where's his case? Enough fun for one day.
Well, for God's sake, what do you suggest I do with myself?
Haven't there been any visitors?
Not one. All our friends must still be in the country.
And Tasman's not at home, is he?
No, so as soon as he'd eaten, he rushed over to see his aunt. He didn't expect you so early.
Why didn't I think of that? How stupid of me.
Stupid? Why?
Because if I had thought of it, I could have come even earlier.
You wouldn't have found anyone here if you had. I've been in my room since lunch, changing.
Isn't there some sort of tiny chink in your door so we could have communicated?
You forgot to arrange for one.
That was stupid of me as well.
Anyway, I suppose we'll just have to settle down here and wait. We probably won't be back for some time.
I expect I shall manage to be patient.
Well,
I
asked first.
Now let's just have a nice quiet little chat, Hedda.
Yes, it seems forever since we had one of those, doesn't it? Except for a few words yesterday evening and this morning, and I don't count that.
Just the two of us, a private talk.
Yes, something like that.
Every day when I walked past, I wished you were home again.
And I spent my whole time wishing the same thing.
Have you? Really, Hedda? But I thought you were having the most wonderful time of all.
Is that what you thought?
Well, that's what Tasman said in his letters.
Him! His idea of bliss is rooting around in old libraries and copying out old manuscripts, or whatever you call them.
Well, I suppose that's what he's been called to do in life, amongst other things.
Yes, and I suppose that that's your... But what about me? My dear, I've been so desperately bored.
Have you really? Seriously?
Just imagine 6 whole months without seeing anyone who knew anything about our friends, or anyone who could talk about the things that interest us.
Yes, I should think I would feel a bit cut off.
But the thing I found most unbearable
Yes?
was all the whole time being with the same one person.
Day and night, yes, I can imagine, the whole time.
That's what I said, the whole time.
Quite, but he's fairly accommodating, Tasman. I would have thought you two could have...
Tesman is an academic.
Undeniably.
And they certainly don't mean with pretending travelling companions. Not in the long run, anyway.
Not even the academic you love.
Don't use that nauseating word.
What's that, Hedda?
You just tried. Listening to the history of civilization day and night.
The whole time.
And all that stuff about medieval husbandry. That's really grim. You can't get much worse than that.
But then tell me, I mean, I don't really understand why you...
Why I married George Tesman.
But if you like, yes.
Do you really find it as difficult to understand as that?
Yes and no, Hedda.
I'd really danced myself to a standstill, Judge. My time was up. No, I mustn't say things like that or think them either.
Certainly no reason to.
One thing you must admit about George Tesman is he's entirely respectable.
Respectable and upright, of course, yes.
And I can't think of anything really ridiculous about him, can you?
Ridiculous? No, I don't think so, not really.
And he's extremely conscientious about his research work. I don't see why he shouldn't go a long way eventually.
Everybody else expects him to finish up in some exceptionally distinguished position. I thought you did too.
Yes, I did. And one thing he seemed intent on in Edda's circumstance was to look after me, so I saw no reason to turn him down.
I suppose if you looked at it like that.
More than any of my other admirers would be prepared to do, my dear.
Well, I certainly can't answer for the others. But as far as I'm concerned, I've always felt, as you well know, a certain respect for the bonds of matrimony, generally speaking anyway.
Oh, I can assure you, I never pinned any hopes on you, Judge.
All I want is a warm, friendly environment where I can make myself useful in all sorts of ways and be free to come and go and know I was regarded as an intimate friend.
By the man of the house, you mean?
Well, to be quite frank, preferably by the lady. By the man as well, obviously. You see, something like that, what I mean is, a triangular relationship like that, is really very agreeable for everyone concerned.
Yes, I can't tell you how many times I must have longed for another man to join us while we were away. Oh, the two of us stuck in that compartment.
Fortunately, your honeymoon is over now. Journey's end.
Still a long, long way to go. This is only a station on the line.
Well, then you must jump out, Hedda, and get some exercise.
I never jump out.
Don't you, really?
No. But there was always someone there.
Trying to see your legs, is that it?
Exactly.
Yes, but...
No, I'm not having it. I'd rather stay exactly where I already am, just the two of us.
But suppose another man were to get on and join the happy couple.
Well, now, that would be quite another matter.
An intimate, understanding friend.
Able to be entertaining about all sorts of lively subjects.
And not remotely academic.
Well, now, that certainly would be a relief.
The triangle is completed.
And the train moves on.
Won't work like this old hand. Absolutely dripping in sweat. Oh, well, hello, Judge. You're already here, right?
Yes, I came in through the garden.
What are those books you're carrying?
Oh, just some new books and periodicals and I'll catch up on academic stuff.
Academic stuff.
Oh, Mrs. Tasman, academic stuff.
How many more books and periodicals do you have to read?
Well, my dear, there's really no limit to it. I simply have to catch up with everything that's written and published.
Yes, I suppose so.
Oh, and Hedda, I managed to get a copy of Violet Lovework's new book. Thought you might like to have a look at it.
No thanks. Well, later perhaps.
I had a look at it myself on the way home.
Well, what is your academic opinion?
Seems remarkably sound to me. He's never written like this before. Well, I think I'll just take these up to my study. I do enjoy cutting the pages so much. And then I must change. We don't have to leave just yet, do we?
Oh, good Lord, no hurry.
Good, then I'll take my time. Oh, by the way, Hedda, Aunt Julia can't come and see this evening.
Nothing to do with that business about her hat, is it?
Good Lord, no. Can't think how you could think something like that about Aunt Julia. Really. No, Aunt Julia is really very ill.
She generally is.
Yes, but today she was quite ill worse, poor thing.
Well, then naturally her sister would want to stay and look after her. I shall just have to put up with it.
You can't imagine how delighted Aunt Julia was to come back and see you looking so striking after the
These
trouble.
everlasting arms. Nothing.
Wait.
What's that about a hat?
Oh, Miss Tesman's, that was something that happened this morning. She left her hat over there and I pretended I thought it was the maid's.
But Hedda, how could you do such a thing to our harmless old lady?
Oh, I don't know. I get these impulses. And there's nothing I can do about it. I don't know why.
You really aren't very happy, that's why.
I can't think of any reason why I should be. Happy. Can you think of a reason?
Yes, several. For one thing, here you are in the house you wanted so much.
Well, you don't believe in that myth as well, do you?
Is it true?
Well, some of it's true.
Go on.
Well, it's true. I used Tesman to escort me home after dinner parties last summer.
Unfortunately, I had to go in a completely different direction.
Yes, we all know you were going in different directions last summer. Anyway, so there we were, and we passed this house, and there was poor Tesman writhing about as usual, groping around trying to think of something to say. So I felt sorry for the man of learning.
Did you?
Yes, I did, really. And so I said, quite frivolously, that I'd like to live in this villa.
Is that what you said?
And then, yes.
And afterwards?
Afterwards, my dear, my frivolity led to other things.
Unfortunately, Hedda, frivolity often does.
So you see, it was this passion for Secretary Fox's villa that first forged the links between George Tesman and me. And that was what led to the engagement, and the wedding, and the honeymoon, and all the rest of it. Yes, you see, I've made my bed, and now I must lie in it, I always said.
How wonderful. You mean you really couldn't care less about this case?
God, no.
Even though we've made it so comfortable for you.
Well, the whole place stinks of lavender and dried roses. Maybe Aunt Julia brought the smell with her.
More likely to be a nephew from the late Mrs. Falk.
Yes, there is something posthumous about it. Like flowers the morning after the ball. Oh, Judge, you can't imagine how terribly bored I'm going to be here.
Well, why shouldn't you find something to keep you interested, Hedda? Some sort of vocation.
A vocation that would interest me.
Well, preferably yes.
God knows where you'd go to look for that. I often think... But no, I don't suppose that would work either.
It might. Tell me.
Well, I was just thinking that I might get Tesman to go into politics.
Tesman, are you serious? Politics? He'd be hopeless at it. It wouldn't suit him at all.
But suppose I push him into it anyway.
Why? What satisfaction would it give you? He won't be any good at it, so why should you want to push him into it?
Because I'm bored, don't you understand? So you think it would be entirely impossible for Tesman to become a minister?
Well, what you have to understand, Hedda, is, for one thing, even if he wanted to, he needs to be comparatively rich.
Yes, that's just it, isn't it? It's this miserable penny pinching I let myself in for. That's what makes life so utterly pathetic and absurd. Because it is.
I don't think that's where the fault lies.
You don't?
The thing is, you never had a really transforming experience.
You mean something important?
You could put it like that, and maybe about to.
If you mean that business about that wretched professorship, that's none of my business.
No, never mind about that. But suppose you were to find yourself in what might euphemistically be described as an important and heavy responsibility, a new responsibility for little Hedda.
Be quiet. You won't see anything like that happen, ever.
Well, we'll talk about it again in a year's time, shall we?